Cami, and today in my kitchen we're going to be making lasagna roll-ups. So this is basically like a manicotti or a stuffed shell only on a lasagna noodle. It's really fast and easy. The other reason this is good right now is because it's been harder to find shells and manicotti noodles in the stores. So I guess it's one of those things that's been backlogged and it's easier to find lasagna noodles. So same taste, just different, it's like any pasta, just different shape. So I'm gonna teach you this. It's a quick, easy meal for any night of the week that your family's going to love. First, we're gonna start with just getting our noodles going. We wanna get those boiling. So I have salty, like ocean water salty, in my Rachel Ray pan that I love. And I'm just gonna put my noodles in. I don't do oil in my water. Some people say put oil in. I don't, because then the sauces don't stick to your pasta. But I am, especially with lasagna noodles, going to make sure that for a minute here they don't stick, because you don't want lasagna to stick. That's not good. Anyway, I want to tell you a little bit about why I love these so much. So I love pasta anyway. My grandfather immigrated from Italy when he was 8, and I grew up with Italian food on my dad's side of the family. Every Sunday we went over to my grandma's and she made pasta. She made her pasta sauce, and her pasta sauce would literally simmer for hours at a time, and sometimes even days. And she, I was like, wow, this is the best pasta sauce ever. And I don't have it because she didn't want anyone else to have it. And so she took it to the grave, and we don't have her pasta sauce recipe. So you can use any pasta sauce. I have several, and eventually I'm going to show different recipes that I like to make and use. Today we're actually just going to use Mrs. Wages. So I'm going to show you. We're going to let that sit here. When you cook your pasta, always make sure that your lid is off. So you want to have a rolling boil when you put it in, and then keep your lid off. Okay, so this is our Mrs. Wages sauce. I've had it simmering here for about an hour now, and I'm going to show you. You can use Prego, Ragu. If you have a homemade sauce you like, you can use anything for this recipe. Just use what you like. But this Mrs. Wages is really easy. You find these packets. They have salsa and pasta sauce. You find them in the canning section, like at Walmart or Cal Ranch or wherever. You can buy them online. I found them cheaper though, just in store if you can find it. So this is the pasta sauce. It takes 6 of the smaller cans of tomatoes, or you can use 3 of the bigger cans. And then it calls for 1/4 cup of sugar. I actually felt like it needed a little bit more, so I did 1/2 cup of sugar. Anyway, and then it's going to make 6 pints. So we'll use some of that today, and then I'm going to freeze the rest. You can it if you want to do that. But it's simple. I'm just going to put it in some jars and freeze it. It freezes up to a year. So then I'll just have pasta sauce, anyway, in my freezer. So we're going to do the noodles. While we're waiting for the noodles to boil, I'm going to show you what goes in this. Like I say, I've always been a pasta lover. And when I served a mission in Pennsylvania, we had the nicest family. They were the Trents, and they were so good to all the missionaries. And they didn't have a lot, but they were always willing to give whatever they had. And so she knew I loved stuffed shells. And so every time we'd go to dinner at her house, she made sure to make stuffed shells for us. And anyway, so I think of her when I make these because she was always so kind, and they literally gave so much. In fact, one time we had transfers and we had a bunch of missionaries that had to get down to the mission office, and they're like, let us take you. We'll just, because miles, you know anything about miles on a mission, you're only allotted so many miles in your car a month, and once they're gone, they're gone. So then you're walking the rest of the month. So they were like, we'll take you down. So they take us down to this big old Winnebago, all these missionaries, and then it broke down. And we were on the side of the road forever. And I think we got home at 2 a.m. Anyway, so that's the Trents. I love them, and I think of her. So anyway, okay, here we go. We're going to put This recipe is pretty easy. We're gonna put our cottage cheese in. I'm gonna use about half of this container. I don't know. Let's see. This is 3 cups in here. So we're gonna use like a cup and a half of cottage cheese. You can use ricotta if that's what you like. I'm just happy with cottage. It's not quite as strong of a flavor, and I like that. And then we're gonna take just some good old grated Parmesan. I feel like when I shake my arm, I was like waving. It's fine, it shouldn't wave. It didn't wave before COVID when I was going to the gym every day, but COVID's pretty much over and I'm still waving. All right, I'm also gonna throw in some of this shaved Parmesan cheese. And here's the trick. I put in cream cheese. Cream cheese just really helps give it a creamy flavor and binds it all together really well. So we're gonna throw that in. You can do it in a blender or you can do it with like a hand mixer or in your KitchenAid, whatever. I just do it in a blender. Then we're gonna throw in some mozzarella cheese. Okay, when you do these, I would suggest not doing the grated mozzarella because it has so many chemicals in it to keep it from going bad and to keep it from sticking together that it just doesn't melt that well. So get a good mozzarella that you can grate so that it has that really yummy melt to it. So anyway, we're gonna grate this, put part of this in because we're gonna save some. We want some for the top of the lasagna rolls. So here we are with our mozzarella. Yeah. I have a lot of Italian in me. Do I speak Italian? No. My dad would just yell at my sister, Maria! He didn't speak Italian. He didn't speak Italian either, but anyway, we tried to pick up some Italian. Mamma mia! My grandma, I literally thought it was normal to have spaghetti at Thanksgiving dinner. Because we had it every Thanksgiving at my grandma's house. I mean, we had the turkey and the stuffing and the potatoes, like we had all of that, but we also had spaghetti on the side. It was at Christmas dinner, on New Year's we had spaghetti. Spaghetti was just, you didn't have a meal unless you had spaghetti. So anyway, that was just kind of what I grew up with. You throw in an egg. I'm gonna put in some salt and pepper. And some parsley flakes. We're just gonna zap a few parsley flakes in. I might do a little pepper. I really like pepper, I'm not gonna lie. My husband really likes pepper. He wasn't much of a salt person when we first met because his older sister had a kidney transplant when she was 18. And so they couldn't eat a lot of salt in their home. And so he wasn't used to really salted foods because they just didn't eat it. And then we got married and I'm like salting everything. He's like, oh, it's so salty. I think over the 27 years he's adapted to the saltiness of it. So now we're just gonna mix this. We don't wanna mix it too much. You don't want it like liquidy. You just want it nice and blended so that you can put it into your lasagna rolls. I'm gonna grab a spatula, my little bee spatula, because you know it's summer even though it's raining right now. Okay, I'm watching my noodles, just a second. All right, so my bee spatula, I'm gonna make sure we get all of that down there like that. Okay, I'm kind of liking the look of this. Getting the egg incorporated, the spices, the cheeses. And I think that's about all I want to do because I really don't want it too much and too liquidy. It's a no-go. All right. Put that away. And then when the noodles are done, I'll show you how to assemble all of it. Okay, so our noodles are cooked. You want to cook them al dente. So you want it, whatever your time is on your box, take a couple minutes off because they will continue to bake even after they're done. I take them off the water, I dump the hot water, I pour cold water on it so it stops the cooking process, and then I've just laid them out on a paper towel and then just patted them down with a paper towel so they're dry. That way your cheese is gonna stick to it. Don't mind the little sauce that happened to fall on it. All right, then you take your 9x13 pan and spray it with cooking spray. And we're just gonna take our noodles and we're gonna roll them. So I have my mixture. Yes, you're only supposed to fill this 2/3 cup full, but I got aggressive and filled the whole thing. It's fine. Remember, you put your piping bags in a cup. That's the way you fill it. I'm just gonna do a little zip line here. Woo. And roll it. And then just put it there in my pan. I don't know, I might do a little bit more and go like this. All right, so we're putting the filling in. Now we just roll them. If you're doing shells or manicotti can be tricky to fill, but that's why the piping bag is the bomb for that, because it just makes it so easy to get your filling in. And we're just gonna roll it till we have our whole pan full, and then we'll put our sauces and cheese on, bake it. All right, so now all of our lasagna rolls are rolled up. We're just gonna take our pasta sauce. You don't want a ton. I mean, you don't want them dry, but you don't want them just soaking in the sauce either, unless, you know, maybe you love the sauce. I'm just gonna pour it on. Red sauce on my quartz. This is a no-go. Better clean that up. All right, now we're gonna take our cheese. I'll show you when they come out. Our shells are out of the oven. They look divine. I've added some fresh basil from my basil plant. And now we're gonna take them out of the pan, put them on a plate. I may have had a little incident with when I tried to plate because the cheese was so stinking yummy and cheesy that it got a little high and then it had a little fall. Anyway, look at that. So look at the cheeses inside, your yummy, your cream cheese, your mozzarella. Anyway, and there is your dinner. I would eat it, but I'm afraid I'm gonna burn my mouth right off, so let's see. Okay, the cream cheese gives it such a creamy texture. I promise you don't want to skip that step. It's just a little bit of cream cheese, but it makes all the difference. And I have 4 pints of pasta sauce that I will stick in the freezer and have it when I need it just on hand. Anyway, there's your lasagna roll-ups. So I hope you enjoy.